meet you. We gave you a short notice, but you gave us a positive response. We are very grateful. And I'm very grateful for the members who have escorted me, because I also gave them a short notice, but they preferred to come with me and leave their work behind. So all of you here, I'm very grateful. The press, you are very much welcome to cover this meeting. We are here on a benchmarking visit. Kenya is our brother, and we have worked together on various things, and we continue to work together. What prompted this benchmarking visit was a meeting that we had for heads of public service for Commonwealth heads of Commonwealth states. I listened into a presentation by one of the staff people in Kenya, and I think that was the PS of public service. And she was making a presentation on performance management. I was so impressed that just next door to Uganda, there was such a system in place. And all along, since I was appointed the head of public service, I was seeing that there was something missing in our public service. And what was missing is an effective performance management system. It's not that we don't have one in Uganda, we have one, but it's not effective as that one of Kenya. As you've mentioned, that what gets measured gets done. Now in Uganda we have the system, but I think the measurement is lacking. So I actually called that lady and I said, can we please come and benchmark? And she accepted then, but because Kenya was going into elections, so we said we couldn't come, and we waited for the new government to come into place. And that's why I'm very happy that despite that you are new in government, you have a lot on your desk, you have a lot to put in place, but you have given us this chance. Thank you once again. Me, I am head of public service and secretary to cabinet. And you are chief of staff and head of public service. These roles are a bit different, but there is a lot to learn from each other. For example, what you are doing here as chief of staff in Kenya, in Uganda is being done by the principal private secretary of the president. This is the person who is in charge of the president's diary and itinerary. So prepares everything, whether private or official. So we are now learning that actually separating these is good, such that you have one who manages the private diary of the president, but you also have one who manages the official diary of the president, which you are doing. And this helps in the implementation part of it, because as head of public service, this gives you power. You become a very powerful man. That means you can summon any permanent secretary at leisure, any minister at leisure, and nobody would hesitate, because you are in touch with the president, and that means you are getting the directive straight from the president to the people that are below you, and that makes your work easier, which is not the case in Uganda. And therefore this means that all official business that the president must handle are handled very fast. Not the case of Uganda, where they are merged together, and therefore the PPS may compromise here and there and maybe get skilled on private matters and then leave official matters outstanding. So this is one leaf that we are going to borrow from here, and we take back to Uganda, of how these two offices can be separated but also be made more powerful. Then when we look at the Public Service Commission, we did meet the Public Service Commission yesterday, Mr. Chief of Staff, and we are also very happy with what we saw there yesterday. We actually found out that the Public Service Commission of Kenya is very powerful. And what made it very powerful is the constitutional changes that were made in the year 2020. 2010. And these constitutional changes did remove some powers from the president and gave them to the commission. And this made the commission very powerful. The commission now is in charge of making sure that the public service of Kenya delivers effectively and efficiently, which we are lacking in Uganda. Because for us in Uganda, the Public Service Commission mostly concentrates on the recruitment, disciplining, promotions, and the kinds more HR oriented than on the performance management system. So we also borrowed the leaf from there, Mr. Chief of Staff, and we actually requested them that we should send our Public Service Commission members to come and benchmark from there, and they also gladly accepted to help us on that. Now, we have also come to learn about how Cabinet performs its work. How does the Secretariat helps to facilitate the Cabinet perform its work? As I told you, me, I'm also Secretary to Cabinet, and I must facilitate Cabinet through the Cabinet Secretariat. And we find for us we have a lot of pending work, a lot of work going on. And for the few things that we have discussed together in the office, I find that here you have standing committees, and these committees help to make the work easy, because work is discussed within the subcommittees, and then what is taken to Cabinet is already sieved out. Therefore, it does not delay Cabinet decisions. Decisions are made faster because ministers have looked through this, have okayed them before they are presented to Cabinet, which we don't have in Uganda. And I see also that one is a leaf to borrow from here, so that if we go back, we can also start these subcommittees of Cabinet, and we make sure that work moves on and we are not bogged down in Cabinet. Then we also looked at the work of my work as the head of public service. I am supposed to coordinate the work of permanent secretaries, but also supervise them. And then I'm also supposed to make sure that Cabinet decisions are implemented. And then I'm supposed to provide a link between the executive and the public service. And then at the same time, I should also coordinate the service commissions. In Uganda, we have the Public Service Commission, the Judicial Service Commission, the Education Service Commission, and the Health Service Commission. All these are supposed to be linked by my office. So when I come here, I learn, because you have told me you have performance agreements for the permanent secretaries. I think I call them principal secretaries. So you make sure that these permanent secretaries deliver. You have also told me that you have performance agreements for ministers. In Uganda, we don't have that. So I see that is something also that we need to borrow here and take home for the effective measurement of the performance of both our ministers and our permanent secretaries. And I've actually requested that if you can get us some of these copies, so that when we go home, we can copy a bit here and there, and we see how we can also move on. And we know that Uganda and Kenya, they are sister countries. We almost have the same resources, but we can see you are leaving us behind, and yet you are saying leaving no one behind. You have already reached the middle income status. We are still lagging behind, and we don't want to lag behind. So we are purposely here to make sure you don't leave us behind, Mr. Chief. So don't tire to see us. Don't tire to hear our calls. Where we get stuck, we shall be calling you, and we get some advice here and there to make sure that Uganda is on the same footing with Kenya. I want to thank you. I don't want to take much time. Thank you very much for accepting us, and thank you very much for accepting us even in the future, and we shall keep coming. I thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.